Well, first I want to say thanks for having me here in beautiful Western Australia. It is a fantastic day, puts Sydney in the shade, and I just love everything I've seen here in the past couple of days. Last night I was at the University of Western Australia Business School. I was honored to meet with some of the students and the dean there, and I got to tell you, that's the future of leadership in this part of Australia and across Australia. A fantastic group of students, and everyone there understood the mobile economy in their DNA, so it was really exciting to see. Although I've lived in Sydney for a long time, I do confess to being a huge fan of this beautiful state. I count the likes of Broome, Ningaloo Reef, Pilbara, Esperance, Margaret River, even New Norcia as some of my favorite memories on a lifetime of great travel around Australia and the world. So it's great to be back here in WA for this event. Thank you very much for my invitation from CEDA. I appreciate it. I also deeply appreciate the time and the attention that you guys are giving me here today. And I use that word attention very deliberately. You all have a host of responsibilities on your mind as we sit here today. You've got things back at the office, you've got things at home, you've got things that are trivial, important, some things are just distracting, all going through your mind. Even as I'm speaking now, your minds are wandering. But you've also got something else that's magnifying this. And it's sitting right there next to you, or it's in your handbag, it's in your pocket. It's that little high-tech angel of connection, or it's a devil of distraction, depends on your relationship with it, depends on the time of day. And it's right there. Right now it's sleeping, it's slumbering, it's on silent because you're being polite to me and polite to everyone sitting around you. But to you, I guarantee it's talking to you right now. It's saying, pull me out, you've got that urge. Pull me out, open me up, have a look. Who doesn't have that urge right now? Put up your hand. We all have that urge. And so as we go on today over the next 30 minutes, while I'm talking up here, every one of you is going to feel that urge to check your phone. It's universal. This feeling, it's become virtually a primal reaction that we all have, akin to other basic instincts like fight or flight, or our cravings for food or companionship or love. The fear of not being with our mobile phone has become a thing, and it's not going away anytime soon. Everyone in this room feels it. Many of you are going to give in to that urge over the next 30 minutes, especially if I become boring or if I drone on. And I don't have any slides, so I'm kind of winging it a little more today. But that's okay, because I don't mind. I completely understand, because I know many of you will be checking Facebook or Instagram. So I only have myself to blame if you glance down at your phone. And I won't be calling anybody out, so don't worry. Now, before I move on, I have two quick confessions. One is, despite my accent, I have in fact lived in Australia for a very long time, almost 30 years. And so when you get beneath my skin, I'm less American than I am Australian. I proudly spread Vegemite on my toast every morning. I am a master of barbecue cuisine and hopeless in the kitchen, like most Aussie men. And I'm also bizarrely fascinated by the impending prospects of a President Donald Trump. My confession number two is that today I may slightly give a few plugs for Facebook. And so I apologize for that in advance. I do this with a mixture of both humility and intent, because I truly believe that Facebook is opening up opportunities for business on mobile that are unprecedented. And I've got some great examples today. So today, 1 in every 3 minutes on mobile in Australia is spent on Facebook or Instagram. Think about that for just a second. There's over 1 million apps in the Apple App Store. There's only over 1 million apps in the Google App Store. There are probably dozens of apps on your phone. Of all those millions of apps, 2, Facebook and Instagram, are 1 in every 3 minutes that people spend on their phones. All the other millions are the other 2/3 of the time. So when you talk about mobile, and when I talk about mobile, you really have to talk about Facebook and Instagram and how that fits with your strategy. Now I want to tell you a little story about a business that I'll know you'll be familiar with. Everybody in this room will recognize this. It's a business with customers that queue outside its door every day. And it's a business where customers even queue in the rain. And it has customers so loyal that they disregard a nearby competitor, even though that competitor's product is actually cheaper. This business isn't a large retailer, and it's certainly not a well-known brand, but it's one close to my heart because I visit it almost every day. That business is my local cafe. And I'll share more a bit about that cafe during the course of my talk. Now, there's three things today I want to impress on you while we all have this time together. First, Australians are infatuated with their mobile phones. Every age group, every demographic, every income category, everybody. By some measures, we Australians are the most mobile people on Earth. This is certainly true when it comes to Facebook's largest platform, Facebook. And in March this year, globally, we had more than 1 billion people use Facebook on a mobile phone every day. In Australia, we had 11 million people use Facebook on a mobile every day. And the number of people coming to Facebook every day exclusively on a desktop device has dwindled to nearly zero. So our usage base in Australia now is almost overwhelmingly mobile every single day. This is the first country in the world where Facebook has hit this 100% mobile milestone for daily active people on our platform. Australia, by this measure, is the most mobile country in the Facebook world. So this infatuation with mobile in Australia is having a profound effect on virtually everything in our economy and our society. Think about your own behavior and how you consume information. Everything from entertainment to shopping, education, news, people-to-people communications, to politics, organizational design, even language, OMG, LOL. Whoever heard of those terms just a few years ago? All driven by mobile. And of course, the impact on business and how we do business and the types of businesses that we can create is huge. Second, there is a greater opportunity than ever before to know your customers and your potential customers because of mobile. And you absolutely, positively need to get on top of this because this train is now really picking up speed. Each one of us not only expect to be treated in a personal way, we demand it. And we demand it all the more with the personal device that is our mobile phone. Years ago, before the invention of the first mass media, such as newspapers, the only real way to market to your customers was one-to-one. It's kind of like my barista does today when I walk into her shop. So she knows me as an individual and she tailors her message and service to me accordingly. But the rise of mass media over the past decades meant that businesses could reach larger audiences than ever before. But there was one kind of big problem, and that's that these businesses didn't really know who they were talking to. They just knew that they were talking to a lot of people. Sometimes a lot of people when you get to things like television. Now this is akin to my barista going into a crowded street or a crowded theater or a crowded stadium and yelling, "I make great coffee." It's a really successful business model if you have the right infrastructure to do it, but it's not the kind of business model that really appeals to individual interaction, the kind that you get with your barista every day. So brands were developed, and brands were developed as businesses' answers to this problem. In the absence of a one-to-one relationship, a brand essentially became that personality which a business projected to the mass group of faceless consumers it was trying to reach. Now, this era of mass marketing to anonymous audiences is still around, but it is changing, and in some ways it is dying. And I'll give you a very real demonstration of this in just a moment that you'll be able to see for yourself. My third point today I'd like to impress on you is you need to stop talking at your customers and you really need to talk with them. And this is about the things that they're interested in at the time they want to hear about it and through the medium they use to connect to their worlds every day, their mobile phone. The reports we just saw from SAP talked about how people don't feel like they're getting relevant content from Australia's biggest companies and advertisers. And that is a big problem for all of us. A few years ago, that wasn't such a big problem because there was only one way to deliver that content generally, which was through mass media. So it was generalized. You showed the same message to everybody. That has changed, and the expectations of users has changed through mobile. Our job as businesses and as marketers is to shift from this mindset of interruption, of broad-based anonymous groups of consumers, to one of relevancy and value-based insight into who we are talking to and what they really want to hear. Now, business has been moving in this direction for some time now. This is not new news. But the rise of mobile has no doubt accelerated this imperative. Loyalty programs, CRMs, Net Promoter Score, lifetime value, all of these things have been around for a long time. But with the rise of mobile, we're now entering an era where a whole generation of consumers are growing up with total customization of their personal technology. So think about your own collection of apps on your phone and how you use them and how it differs from anybody else that you know. And total control of their media consumption. I'll give you a little example from my life. I have a 4-year-old nephew who loves the Lego Movie. He's watched it, like many kids have, he's watched it 100 times on DVD. You don't know how they can watch it so many times, but they still do. Now, one day he wanted to watch it again, but the DVD player was broken, and there was no other option for watching the movie. Except, and this is a real story, by coincidence, the same movie happened to be on free-to-air television that night. So, my sister-in-law promised him that he could sit down at 7 p.m. to watch the Lego Movie. Now, there were 2 things about this experience that really jangled my 4-year-old nephew. First, of course, was, why do I have to wait till 7 o'clock? Now, his mother couldn't sit down and explain to him, well, it's free-to-air television is a linear experience. It was developed decades ago, and it's not like the anytime experience that you're used to. So he didn't get it. I got to wait till 7 o'clock. I don't understand why. But the second thing that was different about this was even more disturbing for business. So when the first commercial break came on during the movie, this 4-year-old reached, of course, for the remote control, as he's used to doing with his DVD player. He tried to fast forward through the ad. When he realized that this didn't work, that his pressing the button had no effect, he put down the remote control and he said to his mother, "Mommy, the movie is broken." By the second ad break, he was off to do something else. He realized that he was refusing to cede control of his media consumption to an interruptive brand that was completely irrelevant to his reality. He doesn't have any money anyway. Why is he seeing ads? So when you think about that, it's kind of amusing, but it's also kind of profound, because this is a generation that's coming up with these expectations and these media consumption behaviors, and we have built an economy and businesses that are not built to service those expectations. And it's not just this generation that's coming along. I would argue that it's here in this room right now. So I want everyone to do something for me. Everybody, could you pull out your mobile phone, please? I heard people gasp. Open it up, and if you have Facebook or Instagram on your phone, please open it up now. And take the phone and hand it to the person next to you. And just have a little scroll through their feed. So you go through that. This always happens. Every time I do this, everybody starts talking, right? Because you're starting to feel something, right? So just shout it out. How does it feel? Awkward. Feels strange, doesn't it? Okay, we got to put the phones back now. That's it. The fun's over. So it makes you feel a little strange, right? And I've done this for a while with different groups, and it's a really good thing to do. You should try it yourselves, because it brings out a real reality. It makes you feel like you're reading somebody's diary, and that's what somebody said to me once. They're like, reading somebody's diary. And I said, that's exactly right. And it's a real insight that we all think that we know what Facebook is, but the reality is that all of us do know what it is, but in a way, none of us know what it is. We actually. Because today there's over 1 billion Facebooks. In this room, there's 250 people. There's 250 Facebooks in here. There's 250 Instagrams. And this is not just a party trick. It really matters for business. And I'll explain why it matters. There's 2 big reasons why this matters. One is that Facebook is built on something that you just experienced. It's a simple but profoundly powerful reality, and it's something called unique identity. Facebook knows who you are and what the things you love, and that's the curated experience that we give you. That's why Newsfeed is so addictive. That's why people love it so much, and that's in our DNA. Unique identity is the reason everyone's Facebook feed is different, including the ads that appear in your feed. No 2 people see the same mix of content on Facebook, and neither do they see quite the same mix of ads. Because of this thing called unique identity, advertisers can target their content on Facebook and Instagram to only those people they want to reach, whether they're using Facebook's native data, a combination of our data, your data, and even third-party data. This data is super powerful, and it is the future of your ability to reach your customers. This is powerful because it allows an advertiser to target only the people they want to talk to. It also allows them to talk to these people over a period of time, thus evolving the messages that they want to convey. This is really powerful as well, and I'll give you an analogy that'll bring it to life. Imagine the TV in your living room sitting there on the wall, and it just knows that you are in the market for a new mid-priced SUV. It just knows. So it shows you an inspiring ad for the new Toyota Kluger. Now, that's kind of relevant to me. That's nice. It's got me interested. It sees that you've watched the ad. It knows that you saw it. And it knows that further that you're interested actually in the safety features of the Kluger for your 2 young children. So then, a little while later, it shows you a different ad just about the Kluger's safety features. Okay, that's even more interesting, more relevant to you. A little while later, maybe a few days, it shows you an ad about pricing and financing about that new Kluger. And then later, it shows you an ad for a test drive and lets you easily sign up or simply call the dealer. And maybe that test drive ad actually comes on Saturday morning when you get up, and that's the day you're going to go for a test drive. The TV even knows other places you consume media and places relevant ads about Kluger there as well. If it feels that the content in those places will resonate with you and move you along the marketing funnel. Finally, after you have converted and you bought that new Kluger, the TV stops showing you Kluger ads altogether. You won't see another one. Or, perhaps better yet, it changes the type of ad that it shows you to one which focuses on getting your new Kluger serviced with your nearest Toyota dealer. Again, something that's useful for you, that's relevant to the fact, hey, I just bought this car. Now, this is not how TV or traditional media works today. In fact, it's not how almost all digital media works either. Think about the times that you've seen repeated ads fired at you, and you're like, hey, I just bought that thing, or hey, I just got back from Bali. I'm not looking to go to Bali now. I used to work in the car business, and I spent a lot of time on other car makers' websites just researching things. Guess what I got bombarded with all the time? Car ads when I was online, and I was not in the market to buy a car. So this is not how traditional TV works, traditional media works. It's not how most digital works, but it's exactly how Facebook and Instagram work because they're founded on this incredible, valuable nugget of unique identity that you've all just experienced. Now, there's another reason that unique identity really matters to business. It matters because it's driving this profound change in how consumers want to engage with businesses and brands and the products and services they offer. And you felt that yourselves when you swapped phones. You were living in a different world. You want to be back to your safe, curated, familiar world of Facebook, and the type of messages you want in there, be it from your friends, family, or from brands, you want to have that same kind of feel. So, in the era of mass marketing, everybody got the same message, often over and over again. And that's why you've seen the same TV ad for the new Kluger 25 times, even after you've bought that new car. So this is both incredibly wasteful for business and incredibly annoying for consumers. It's actually a bad place for everybody. But on mobile, in your Facebook or Instagram feeds, you, the user, the consumer, the real person looking at that screen, you are in control. It takes a flick of your thumb to eliminate an ad from your view. You can do it in a nanosecond. In this new mobile world, bad, irrelevant messages from businesses who can't or won't understand their customers will lose, and many of them will die. But the good news is that the marriage of Facebook's data, your data, and third-party data provides the perfect tool you need to meet this challenge. Now, back to my local coffee shop. The reason my barista is running a great little business is not that she's got better staff or better machinery or even better coffee. Sure, all those things are important. They all contribute to the quality of the value proposition that she presents to me. But the thing that she's really brilliant at is knowledge, knowing her customers, and knowing how, when, and why to speak to her market. She never asks me if I want my banana bread toasted, because the first time she offered it to me, I declined, mentioning I preferred it untoasted. She always remembers that I have a flat white with 1 sugar. In the brief moment it takes to order a coffee, she includes a personal reference, asking after the child my partner is expecting or referencing a news article she read about Facebook because she knows I work for Facebook. In fact, on the 4th of July, she wishes me happy 4th of July because she knows I'm originally American. She doesn't even offer me a loyalty card. Instead, she occasionally just gives me a coffee on the house. And most importantly, she knows when not to say anything to me. When she realizes I'm busy on a call or running late, or I've just finished my coffee and banana bread, I'm walking out the door, so she's not at that moment trying to sell me anymore. So I buy my coffee and my banana bread from her pretty much only from her. And I'll often grab a sandwich from her at lunch as well. Now, she's running a great business, not because of the quality of the coffee or just the price, but because of the information she puts to good use with each of her customers and how it makes me feel. Delivering that superb customer experience really is relevant and resonant with my needs. So what can we learn from her for a mobile world? When it comes to building your business in a mobile world, this same type of relevance and resonance are the new competitive advantage. Creating value for over 1 billion people on Facebook on mobile every day through relevance and resonance, and doing this at massive scale, this is what Facebook's DNA is. My point with the barista example is that we all want to have customers loyally queuing at our doors every day, recommending us to friends and family, generating higher margins. And my team, like Facebook teams around the world, work hard to help businesses better understand their customers so they can talk to them in a personal, direct way, but at this massive scale that Facebook and Instagram provide, and continue to grow the value they create for real people who come to our platforms every day. So what we want to do is help you connect to your customers in this personally relevant and resonant way, so that ads eventually become just great content. And ads become the dirty word that kind of they are. Because when you hear the word ad, you go, oh great, I can't wait to watch some ads. That'd be terrific. No, you kind of shudder thinking about ads. And sometimes we do polls and we do surveys of Facebook users, and we'll ask them, did you see an ad for a certain brand? But you know what? Sometimes when the ad is really good and really well targeted and it's really well made for the audience, the people's score on that question actually goes down. And the reason is they don't associate that content with being an ad. They just think it's great content that's relevant to their lives. And that's where we want to get to. We call it personalized marketing at scale. It's personalizing marketing and your messages, but doing it at a scale that drives the same kind of results you get from mass media. Now, the reality for businesses large and small is that people are connecting on mobile every day, often through Facebook or Instagram. And across some demographics, up to half of all media time spent is on our platforms. We see it in our own behaviors in this room today. Through that urge you're feeling right now, you're getting bored with me, you're getting tired, when's this guy getting off the stage? You got that urge to check your phone. That's the thing you're thinking about. Now, just before I lose you completely, let me reel off a few numbers about what's happening on mobile in Australia to supplement what we heard a little earlier. According to Nielsen, Australians spend 37 hours per person per month on their smartphones. 37 hours is the average. And just over 25 hours per person per month on tablet devices. We spend close to 33 hours on smartphone apps and just over 4 hours on your smartphone browser. So browsing is actually not the common activity on mobile phones. It's working in apps, and Facebook and Instagram are apps. We're the two biggest apps in that ecosystem. So Facebook, Instagram, video, movies, gaming, messaging, music, travel, finance, news and information, all of these have larger audiences now on smartphones than on desktops, many by massive margins. And great Australian companies, large and small, are starting to build some amazing businesses on mobile. I can't wait to get more, but here's some fantastic examples. Tourism Australia. Tourism Australia wants to grow the number of Americans, for example, visiting Australia this year. So there's over 300 million people in America, but for the majority, a trip to Australia simply won't be feasible. They don't have the money, they don't take overseas holidays, they don't have a passport, they don't have enough time. So what Tourism Australia doesn't want to talk to every American, they just want to talk to those who have an inclination to come to Australia that they have a chance to get. So they worked with Facebook to design a series of really cool, immersive 360-degree videos, the kind of videos where you can move the phone around and explore an environment. And those really brought the destinations to life here. So they were underwater videos where you were diving with seals. There were things where people were standing on the beach at the 12 Apostles, kind of looking around at the scene. Just awesome. They were diving on Ningaloo Reef and looking at the coral. Just beautiful experiences you could get on mobile with Facebook. And this was designed to pique people's interest, push them to seek out more information, push them down that marketing funnel, get them to go to Australia.com, which is a fantastic mobile-enabled site. Now, what this campaign did, I won't take you into all the numbers about our campaigns, but what it did is it combined Facebook's knowledge of Americans, and we used that to Tourism Australia's advantage. So with our data, we could target people who had passports, who actually did travel, and had an interest in coastal and aquatic holidays, which is what they featured in their content. And we combined that with Tourism Australia's knowledge of what resonates, the kind of content that resonates with U.S. visitors, because they have a lot of knowledge of that. So this proved to be a really powerful combination, and it drove outstanding results in terms of intent to visit Australia. Now, although Tourism Australia can't offer that face-to-face interaction and personal experience that I get with my barista, and that you probably get with your barista, that doesn't mean they have to blindly blast out advertising messages to more than 300 million Americans, hoping to reach the 10% or so who might ever consider getting on a plane and flying all this way to Australia. They can be smarter, and they can create great relevance and resonance with their intended audience on mobile, on Facebook and Instagram. So they're a great example, and then there's a bunch of others as well. A lot of you will know Domino's Pizza, for example, and Jack Cowan, a great Western Australian for a while, came to Perth from Canada for a long time. Domino's Pizza in Australia is one of the most mobile fast food businesses in the world. It really is an amazing business, and if you don't know about it, I urge you to read up some more. They have almost 75% of their orders today coming via mobile phones. They're a technology business, a mobile business that just happens to deliver pizzas. And they utilize Facebook to drive their brand metrics and mobile ordering amongst really hard-to-reach customers, which are young males. College students, uni students, young tradies, those are their core customer. Really hard to reach through any other media. Facebook and Instagram is the way they do it. Property site Domain. If anybody's bought a house, you'll know that Domain has a fantastic property app. Realestate.com.au has another great app as well. Well, Domain has made its own massive pivot to mobile, and their intent is to make Domain the #1 mobile property site in Australia. And they worked closely with Facebook to create really highly relevant content targeted at in-market home buyers. And some of you might have experienced some of that if you've been buying a house recently, going through Domain. Supermarkets, such as West Farmers' own Coles or Woolworths, are using Facebook and Instagram on mobile to target premium, mainstream, and budget shoppers. So they'll send out specific recipe ideas and videos and offers based on their own loyalty card data, and then tracking that data in store to see see sales lift as a result of the advertising. Now they're moving into a world where the trusty paper catalog, the thing that gets stuffed in your letterbox every week or two that you take out and you throw in the rubbish, well, that becomes a thing of the past, and it's replaced by a highly relevant mobile catalog that's delivered to a mother's news feed while she's waiting at the school gate, wondering, what am I going to make for dinner tonight? And finally, a much smaller business than these, Kayla Itsenis. Now, I don't know how many people in this room have heard of Kayla, but she is an amazing Australian business success story. Kayla is a 24-year-old fitness buff from Adelaide, who many of you probably have never heard of. She has built her brand into the largest fitness personality in the world on Instagram, with over 10 million followers. And she also has thousands of paying customers for her fitness programs from around the globe. Many Australians have never heard of Kayla. She is a massive personality and business on Instagram. Kayla has built a multi-million-dollar global business from sleepy little Adelaide, 100% on Facebook and Instagram, and 100% on mobile. Many of you in this room are going to have your own examples that you've heard of or that you've seen, but Australia needs many more. I'd like to highlight one more thing before I conclude, and this is about mobile, and this is one word: video. The percentage of video viewership on mobile has gone from less than 1% in 2008, so people watched almost no video on mobile in 2008, to over 53% today. The amount of video being viewed on mobile has just exploded. That is, over half of all video being viewed on digital today is happening on mobile. Think about your own behaviors and the amount of video that you see in your news feed every day. This is a huge opportunity for business to engage these people as they go about their day, on the bus, waiting in the queue, at work, at home, anywhere, everywhere, all day, every day. Video is a place where you have to go if you're a brand that wants to reach consumers. Now, I'm not throwing around all these numbers just to impress you. My reason is pretty clear. all of us as decision makers, not just digital or mobile marketers, all of us as business decision makers need to start viewing consumers through their mobile behaviors. My CEO, Mark Zuckerberg, did just that. Now, back in 2012, just 4 years ago, smartphone sales were exploding, and Mark realized that we needed to do at Facebook two things, and we needed to do them incredibly fast. First, we needed to pivot the Facebook experience from desktop over to mobile. And we needed to find a way to make ads engaging and relevant in this new Facebook mobile experience. We had two jobs to do at once. If you remember the old Facebook, it was very desktop, it was very text-based. It was a very different experience to what you have on mobile today. So we needed to do both things at once. Switch the experience over to mobile, keep users engaged, and then find a way to serve ads in that platform where users are going to find them engaging and not be turned off. If we failed at either of these tasks, Facebook would vanish. Well, so far, fingers crossed, things have gone fairly well against both these challenges. As I mentioned, since 2012, Facebook has grown its users to 1.65 billion globally, with over 1 billion coming to Facebook on mobile every single day. In 2012, Facebook derived zero ad revenue from mobile, nothing, just 4 years ago. Today, in the quarter just passed, Facebook's mobile ad revenue reached $4.2 billion, which was up 75% year over year. That was up from just 4 years ago. Mobile is now a staggering 82% of Facebook's total ad revenue, and over 3 million businesses now find their customers through advertising on Facebook. By almost any measure, Facebook has become perhaps the most mobile business on earth. Now, I'm sure most of you sympathize with John Wanamaker's quote, "Half the money I spend on advertising is wasted. The trouble is I just don't know which half." And by coincidence, Facebook's office in New York is actually in John Wanamaker's old office building. He was a big department store owner in New York back in the 19th century. But the truth is that now, with the power of unique identity on mobile and through Facebook and Instagram, these valuable dollars need not be wasted by business. You can provide that same personal service and breed the same loyalty at scale as my barista. So what should you as a business leader do now? This all sounds great, but what are the things you need to take back to the office? So if I may, I'm going to give a few hard words of advice. Don't wait for others to prove to you that mobile works. I get a lot of that in my work. Prove to me that it works before I invest. You need to prove it to yourself. Trust me, your customers are on mobile. You need to go out and find them. Challenge how you structure your marketing and your management teams. Don't silo mobile or social into some small group over in the corner of your thinking. Mobile should be at the core of your business and your marketing strategies. Don't treat mobile as a separate customer experience. It's not. Think of it as a totally connected customer journey. Ask hard questions about how you're measuring the impact of your marketing. Measurement is your most important tool and the key to driving ROI and value in a mobile world. You have to master it. Don't accept that you can waste half of your advertising dollars, because you don't have to anymore. Resist the temptation to build apps and websites which few people want to visit. Instead, leverage the platforms where your customers are already spending their time. Humbly, I think these are Facebook and Instagram. Ask hard questions about how you can get more out of your consumer data. Build better customer databases designed with mobile in mind, and spend time truly getting to grips with how your customers experience their world. Don't assume you know. Get onto Facebook and Instagram, get onto mobile, talk to others, walk in your customers' shoes. Challenge legacy strategies and tools that were built in the old non-mobile world. For example, if you're still printing those paper catalogs and shoving them in letterboxes and they wind up in the rubbish, think hard about how Facebook or Instagram on mobile could be your new delivery engine instead. And finally, build deep expertise in your organizations by hiring people who know mobile, including at board and senior executive levels, perhaps most importantly at board and senior executive levels. So next time you pick up that cup of coffee from your barista, ask yourself, why am I buying it from this particular cafe? And then, when you pull out your phone, one of the many, many times that you're going to do so that day, give some thought to the millions of Australians and the over 1 billion real people who are doing the very same thing at that very same moment. And consider how you can build your next $1 million or $1 billion business through capturing these super valuable slivers of attention which mobile presents to the businesses of Australia and to the world. Thanks for your time.